y'all, and welcome to NYG Forecast with Mal. I apologize for the poor lighting, a little bit of a change of scenery. I am visiting back home in New York this week, so just visiting some family. So this preview episode will be recorded here tonight, and we are going to dive into it right away. New York Giants are playing the Green Bay Packers Sunday at 1 p.m. Guys, we got a lot to talk about here tonight, so I really think that this game is really going to tell a lot. As we spoke about in the previous pod, that Brian Daboll was fired last week, so interim head coach Mike Kafka will be taking over this week. A lot of different changes. Russell Wilson has been benched. Jameis Winston has been elevated to QB2 and will be starting this week versus the Green Bay Packers. And now before we get into it, I just want to dive into the injury report to kind of give a little background as to why Jameis Winston is starting, and many Giants fans know. Jaxson Dart went out versus the Bears last week with a concussion. Jaxson Dart is still in that protocol. He has been ruled out. Wide receiver Darius Slayton has been ruled out with a hamstring. Edge rusher Kayvon Thibodeau is out with a shoulder injury. Edge rusher Chauncey Golston is still out with the neck. Prayers for him. Hope he starts to recover soon. We haven't seen him in a while. Evan Neal is also out with a hamstring. Not sure how he can be out. He hasn't even played a single snap, but I digress. Doubtful, we are also maybe missing nose tackle Raheem Nunez-Roches and safety Tyler Nubin. Bobby Okereke is questionable. Paulson Adebo is questionable, but Kafka was confident that Paulson Adebo will return this week, which is a big boost for this secondary because Deonte Banks has been absolutely horrid. So we will fully have CB1 Paulson Adebo back and CB2 Cordell Flott. So secondary should be good. We also still have Holland there. Tyler Nubin's been very disappointing this season. So in the end, if he misses this game, hope he gets well. I think we'll be okay with the safety depth that we have in Dane Belton. Now, guys, this weekend with the Packers. Packers are a really tough team. Fantastic defense. Very well coached. I think that the Giants offense is going to struggle. Now, here's the thing with Jameis Winston. He either throws 5 touchdowns or he throws 5 interceptions. What Jameis we get? More to come. This game will completely depend on Jameis Winston. However, Giants are 2-8, and moving into this next week, season's already mostly over. At this point, we got to see what we got, see how Mike Kafka does and how he leads this team differently than Daboll does. Because remember, guys, for 4 years we had Daboll. This is going to be the first time that we don't see him on the sideline. New leadership. Interested to see how Mike does, considering this is a position that he interviewed for multiple times. So I'm very curious as to how he's going to coach his scheme versus a very, very good Packers team. Now, defensive line. One thing about Kayvon Thibodeau being out, hope he gets well, we finally get to see Abdul Carter play full time in the position he was drafted for. He's a player that I'm going to be watching this week very, very closely. I want to see if he gets more production on the outside there. I think that he can be very disruptive. For the whole entire season, we've really been using him as a spy. I say we got to unleash Abdul. Let him play what he knows how to play. There's this narrative going around that I've been seeing on social media that Dov Kleinman has been calling him Chase Young 2.0. And my podcast co-host Lucas had commented on this, and he said that he really thinks it's the scheme, not the player, and I 100% agree with him. I think that we need to watch this week as he plays the true position that he was drafted for, with Kayvon being out. I'm interested to see what developments and how much of a game changer he can be in that position. Now, however, the key to success for the Giants this weekend, scoring points against a very tough Green Bay defense. Micah Parsons is on that line. Offensive line for the Giants has been playing a lot better than they have in previous seasons. Can they stop that pass rush from Green Bay and Micah Parsons? That's a big question, a big what if. So that's a big key matchup this week. Another key matchup, Green Bay's wide receivers do a very good job of separating. Christian Watson, for example, Romeo Doubs. I'm very interested to see how our secondary does against Green Bay's wide receivers. They did struggle last week against Philly offensively. Defensively played stellar, held Philly to 10 points, unfortunately lost the game because Philly's defense played a very good game as well, and their offense kind of went stale. And a lot of their fans this previous past week have been calling for LaFleur's job. In the end, I think this will be a different game for Green Bay. I think that Shane Bowen's defense plays soft. I think they play not to lose games. Green Bay is not a team that's going to allow you to score 20, 30 points in the first half where you can just play, let's run the clock out. So I'm interested to see how that adjustment goes for this Giants coaching staff. Hopefully, moving forward, we have Kafka making the decisions. Everyone has to be on the same page. He had conversations with Bowen, all the other coaches, having meetings, switching times of meetings. Something had to change. So giving Mike Kafka the benefit of the doubt, considering this is the first time we're going to see him, and this may be a very different tune next week. Let's see how they come out against this Packers team. Let's see how they execute on both sides of the ball, and we'll see if the Giants can get the win. Thank you guys so much for listening. Have a great night, and make sure you please tune in to 14 Rings and NFC East podcast every Wednesday morning when our episode posts. Have a good night, y'all.